just like, yeah, no, still work there. Yeah, right out of high school. Only job I applied for. My wife will tell me that she always says that I don't like the way she talks. And it's not her voice. I like the sound of her voice. That'd be a big problem, I think, if it was like, it's your voice. I just hate it. Just to go to couples therapy and be like, can you hear it right? Like, it's not, you know, it's not fun. It's the information that she chooses to tell me at times. We took a trip to Florida, to Fort Lauderdale. And her and our daughter are flying from Nashville, where we live. And I'm flying from Detroit. We're meeting at Fort Lauderdale's airport. I have to find them when they land. So I called her, because I was about to take off, and I was like, all right, what time do you guys leave? She goes, noon. And it was 11:30, and they're still at home. I was like, Laura, I don't know if you even know what an airport is. But if that plane was in our driveway, I don't think you could make it. And she said, that's what time we leave for the airport. Our flight's not till 1:30. And I was like, all right. So what do you think I wanted to know when I asked that? Is that what you thought the best time you could give me was a time that means nothing to nobody? What time did you go to bed last night? Just tell me that, and I'll just look up all the planes that land in Florida, and I'll guess which one I think you're on. She said, I'm sorry I don't talk the way you want me to talk. I'm like, I want you to talk like a regular person, all right? Like you've been around people before, you know? We didn't talk in Florida, I'll tell you that. She's good at not talking to me. She can go a long time. She could do her whole marriage career. Marriage fights are great because they're all very dumb. I would say 90% of them are dumb. 10% the cops show up. But we got in a fight once over chocolate milk. We didn't talk for 24 hours. What happened is I brought chocolate milk home, and she was like, why did you bring it home? And I was like, you're supposed to drink it after you work out. And she was like, that's not true. And I was like, well, there's a commercial on TV. They probably looked into it more than you did. So I decided to listen to them. And she said, that's just the milk people pushing chocolate milk. And I was like, you don't even know what that statement means. You don't know if there's milk people. And I think chocolate milk's doing fine. I don't think they're sitting on barrels of it. And they're like, we got to make up a lie. We got to get rid of this chocolate milk. She went to college, all right, and I did not. But she did not study chocolate milk. When is it good and not good for you? To be fair to her, though, I do not work out. So, you know, but I was probably going to start, and I needed to get all this stuff there. Do you ever get in those fights, like you'll be at home, like by you and your spouse, and you guys are not talking to each other, and you're in the house together, no kids, the house is quiet, and you just stay on opposite ends, and then you pass each other in the hallway? That's like the funniest part of it, because you don't live in a mansion, you have one hallway. And you just didn't time it out right, and you just have to walk by each other like strangers. You're like, oh, excuse me, sorry, yeah, no, go ahead. She'll be watching TV, I'm like, ma'am, are you watching this? I couldn't tell, I was gonna change it if you weren't watching it. It's the silent treatment. The silent treatment is, it's a very common thing. Everybody knows what it is. I think women are just born knowing it. I don't think you're taught it. I don't think it's like, my mom did it and her mom. It's an instinct that's in us all, that we all just know. And here's what made me think of that. I rewatched the movie Sixth Sense. And I'm not trying to do a Sixth Sense joke. This is a 20-year-old movie. I also have to spoil it, but it's 20 years old. So If you don't know by now, I don't know what to tell you, you know? And don't be like, we were going to watch it tonight. We're going to go to Blockbuster on the way home, and so he's, you know, he's dead the whole time. And I don't know. I mean, that's, if you haven't seen it, it's a pretty big part of it. But for those that have, think about when you watched it. When we all saw this movie for the first time, none of us knew he was dead. That was the biggest surprise we've ever seen in our life, you know? We just thought his wife wasn't talking to him for like a year. That made more sense to us than him possibly being dead. And I was like, when I watched it, I was like, what do they show him dying? Yeah. That guy shoots him with a gun. That's how the movies start. That's how obvious they're like, hey, he's dead. And we still watched it for 2 hours, just like, I know what this guy's going through, you know? This is a movie about marriage and how hard marriage is. Yeah. Even if you get shot, it's your fault. On a sadder note of sorts, we had to put our dog down recently. And it's a tough thing to do, you know? Nothing was wrong with her. I'm just really busy right now. And she was very sick. That was a joke, all right? That was a joke, and she would have loved that joke, so don't you worry about it. That's the type of humor she had. She was a rescue. It's not your labradoodle humor, all right? It's a little darker. She was a wonderful dog. We loved her, and her name was Annie. And the reason we got her was my sister worked at a vet, and people do put dogs down for no reason. So if someone brought a dog in that was fine, they just didn't want it. My sister couldn't do it, so she would walk the dog back and then just steal the dog. I don't know the laws on all that, but I'm sure now people are finding out that their dog's still alive right now. So we got Annie. Annie was getting put down. She was a hunting dog, and she was terrible at it. And she was bred to be a hunting dog, and she was just like a misfit toy. They just didn't do it. She got shot once, and that's because the guy, he would be like doing target practice, and then she'd just walk in front of the targets, and he would like hit her, and he's like, what are you doing? And she's like, what are you doing? She had no awareness about her, like the senses that dogs have. We had turkeys in our backyard once, and I let her out to go chase these turkeys. You know, retired hunting dog. Figured that's fun. And we have a very normal backyard. It's not Yellowstone Park. You can see all of it at all times. I push her out, and she just pees and then comes back in the house. Never sees the turkeys. And I'm just looking at her like, you didn't feel anything? Like nothing was going, I sensed it as a human on the couch. I felt there was turkeys outside. You want to take just one lap around, see if... The guy used her a lot for duck hunting. So he would shoot a duck. She's supposed to run and go get it and then bring it back. So what I like to picture is he shoots the duck. She runs out, comes back, no duck. And she's like, I don't even know what we're doing. All right, I did not. A million things flew in the air when you shot that gun. And I'm supposed to know which one you hit. And the guy's just looking at her. And then she's like, you're not even the guy that I came out here with. Do you see? Is there another guy out here by any chance? Our daughter would put birthday cone hats on her. And one slipped over her eye. And it was like that for 6 hours. I was just trying to see how long, how's it accidentally not coming off? And she was just going about her day, just eating, drinking, I can't see all that eye no more, all right? That's the cards I was dealt, and that's okay. And then I pulled it off of her, and she's like, I didn't know you were a doctor. And I'm like, I am a doctor. It's just two dumb animals talking to each other. So she had skin cancer, and she would get all these spots on her. So we kept getting them removed. But it was really starting to take a toll on her, and she was older. So we knew the day was close. And our daughter, she's 6 now, but she was 5 at the time. This was her first pet. She was best friends with this dog. And it was the first thing that was gonna die in her lifetime. So it's a lot of stuff to have to explain to a kid, you know? And so I was talking to my wife about like, how are we gonna tell her? And at first I was like, let's just act like we didn't have a dog. 5-year-olds are smart, but if we stick together on this, and she comes home from school and is like, where's the dog? And we're like, what dog? Like, I've never seen a dog. Don't you think I would know if there was a dog? But I read an article about the long-term damage of that. It's pretty good. So I was just honest with her. And I set her down. I said, look, Annie's very sick and she's older and she's going to die soon. This happens, so just love her as much as you can right now. And she took it as good as a 5-year-old can take it. So the next day, I kind of told her again, you got to tell kids over and over again. I kind of kept telling her. I didn't want this to be a surprise. And then Annie surprised us by living 6 months longer. I mean, we were way off on when we thought she was going to die. But I already started telling my daughter I didn't want to stop and then have to start it again. So I just kept it up for 6 months. Every day I was like, she'll die. All right, she will die. She will die, I will die, your mom's dead. So finally the day was here, and our daughter was at school. And so my sister and my wife, they took Annie to go have to put her to sleep. And I went to go pick up our daughter to tell her. I've already been telling her. And so I picked her up, I told her, it was brutal, very sad. She took it as if this was the first she's heard about it. We get home, and my wife was like, how was it? Which is already a dumb, like, it was great. You know, I loved it. Can't wait for the next thing to die. Nice to say I told you so, you know. I told my wife it was terrible, you know. And then my wife goes, you didn't tell her that I did it, did you? And I was like, no, why would I say that? Like, I didn't even think about it, you know? Then I looked at her like, is that what you would have said, though? Would you have told her that I did it? You know how your dad's been talking with the dog dying? Well, he's finally had enough.